Good Wednesday morning. Yesterday afternoon, it got absolutely crazy in the sports world. We had an active NFL trade deadline, and then more layers to this Brooklyn Nets mess as Steve Nash is either fired or quits, or they went to fire him. He said, listen, I was going to quit anyway, whatever. He is out. And then you hear that they're going to go after Ime Udoka of the Boston Celtics, who apparently had an inappropriate relationship that involved inappropriate texts and language amongst staffers, so much so that it was going to be tough for them to bring him back next year after a year-long suspension. So, sure, let's just move on from the NBA Hall of Famer, who was an upstanding guy, and then go get this guy that the Boston Celtics saw take them to the NBA Finals that then acted like so much of a creep that they had to suspend him and probably not bring him back. That's great. And then you got Kyrie, still not talking to the media. Nobody's doing anything about it. You get statements sent out by the Players Association in the NBA. Just little things here or there to cover your ass, but nobody's really doing anything about it. And you've got one of the bigger messes on your hands that Adam Silver has dealt with. And he's dealt with some big messes, but this is a huge one. And those other messes, Adam Silver stepped right in and did something about it. With this one, crickets. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Jay. You know what? I am floating on a cloud today. As I had my third, I didn't have. My daughter had our third grandchild yesterday.
All right.
And little AJ was born around 1:45 yesterday afternoon.
All right.
Mom and baby daughter are doing absolutely great.
Awesome.
And Matt will be flying out to go play for the Islanders against St. Louis, I think, on Thursday night. And, so, I mean, all this other nonsense going on in the sports world, I mean, I really couldn't have cared any less yesterday afternoon.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? You're just kind of flying and floating on a cloud, and it's unbelievable, and I'm so happy for Matt and Sydney.
Well, congratulations to
yes.
them. Congratulations to you. AJ stands for?
Alice James.
Alice James. Okay.
Right, so James is Matt's dad's name.
All right.
So there was no like Alice Boomer or any of that stuff.
Well,
so it's Alice James. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe.
Alice Norman doesn't really have a ring to it.
How about Alice Norma?
Alice Norma?
Yeah.
How about just Norma? Just call her Norma.
Right. Maybe I will. I don't know. But anyway,
congratulations.
When he's got a little sister.
That is great.
So
well,
that's unbelievable. So that's great. So I kid when I said that I didn't. I knew exactly what was going on yesterday, and especially with the Nets. And when they hired Sean Marks in 2016, I remember sitting in here with Craig, and I was telling, Craig, so this is a great hire by the Nets. They're hiring a guy that's coming from the San Antonio Spurs, knows how to deal with major personalities, hopefully will understand how to build the team. And, and he recognized something, obviously, that I have recognized over the years since he's been here, is that you can't win unless you have superstars. Now, they had Kevin Durant. I mean, not Kevin Durant. They had the Spurs. The Spurs had
you're talking about
Tim Duncan, Mario Ginobili,
right.
Tony Parker. Yes, they had all these great guys. The Admiral.
Yeah,
David
they had all
Robinson.
These
right. So, he saw how a team could go and win, but you need superstars that are going to be competent. They're going to play defense. They're going to be thinking about team first, and they're going to make the coach look like a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly where he came from. And I figured when he got here, this was going to be a good, solid signing by the Nets to run their organization after Billy King basically destroyed it. Trading away picks for Paul Pierce and
Kevin Garnett
and everybody else. Okay, so he gets here in 2016, and I'm a huge advocate of it, and let's fix this thing, and let's see if they can get it done right. And he gets off to a great start. He was building the Nets like the Knicks are building the Knicks right now. Like just trying to get good draft picks in here, get good solid young players in here. And he was building and trading and building and drafting and did a really good job. And then all of a sudden, 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago now, he goes down this road and he decides to dance with, these maniacs that came here and basically have blown up this entire franchise. And they have ruined his reputation as far as I'm concerned. His press conference yesterday was a joke. It was laughable. It's pitiful. Everything that is going on around Kyrie, what's going on around the coaching staffs here, what's going on around Kevin Durant, I'm not coming back unless these guys are fired. I think, Steve Nash has self-respect. That's what I believe. He's a Hall of Fame basketball player. He may not be a great coach, but you know what? He deserves better than what he has been dealing with over the last 2.5 years. And the embarrassment this offseason about trading, or getting traded because he didn't want to work Kevin Durant didn't want to work for the GM or the coach is absolutely an embarrassment to the franchise. And I said it the other day. I said it on Monday. You've been very pointed in your criticisms as well, that Kyrie Irving has ripped the heart out of the franchise, and he has. And he's been doing it for 4 years now, and he continues to do it. And this latest fiasco is just that. It's a fiasco, and it really is a scandal. And I think when you read what Steve Nash said in his last press conference as coach about how we're all trying to learn and things of that nature, I mean, I would, if you had self-respect and you were Steve Nash and you stepped back and you looked at that, you had to say to yourself, there is no effing way I'm going to work with these idiots anymore.
I can't defend this guy. That's what he should have said.
Well, I
can't defend this anymore.
I know it's easy for us to say this because we sit here and we are in our little WFAN bubble, and we come to work every day, and we have a group of guys that really do like each other, like working together, love coming to work, looking forward to coming to work. That was no longer Steve Nash. I mean, like the moment that Kevin Durant said this summer that he wants to be traded, it's either me or the coach. You know, Steve Nash is like, you got to be kidding me. Now I got to deal with this. So I think that there was a meeting of the minds, if you will. And I think Steve Nash said, you know what? I don't want to learn any more about these people, meaning Kyrie. I can't deal with this anymore. They don't want to play for me. They're not playing. Kyrie's embroiling us in yet another scandal, another off-the-court situation here. I'm sick and tired of dealing with it. So, you know, I will leave. I'll get the hell out of here. Now, Sean Marks is on the clock, you know, because you can't get rid of the players. You're not going to get rid of the players, and that's obvious because if there were ever a time for you to get rid of some players, this would have been the time.
Yeah, and I think that Sean Marks at this point is so desperate. Joe Tsai is so desperate. We were talking about the season ticket sales, how they have been down. They jacked up the prices because they're losing money. Everybody was pulling out of those season tickets. All they want to do at all costs is have this team win because they've got so much egg on their face now that they feel like there can't be any more egg on their face. So why not keep Kyrie around? Why not go get Ime Udoka, who's embroiled in his own scandal? That's what they're doing. And in fact, they're just making themselves more of a problem and more of a joke. And there isn't a single person out there. I don't even know if the Nets fan base at this point likes this team. And certainly nobody who's a passive observer of the NBA likes this team. And you got guys like Shaq and Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller just trashing this organization. I mean, this is just, and then they just stand there and Sean Marks has his press conference like, yeah, like everything's fine. Everything isn't fine. And, oh, by the way, where's Kevin Durant condemning any of this stuff? I mean, can Kevin Durant come out? I mean, he had no problem saying I want the GM and the coach fired, but he's got a problem, you know, saying that what Kyrie Irving said was a bad thing or what he posted was a bad thing. Where are you? Where's LeBron, by the way? LeBron is...
Well, they may all believe it. They all may believe what this crap is putting out there. So
that's an even bigger problem.
Well, yeah, that is, and it's a scary problem.
God.
It really is a scary problem. I'm telling you. And, you know, and the NBA is sitting on its hands doing nothing, waiting for what? Waiting for Joe Tsai to do something? I mean, it's pitiful, as like I said, and I just...
Is anything going to happen to Kyrie Irving?
There should be. He should be held accountable on it. And just because he takes a tweet down doesn't mean anything. He has not. And you know, even if he does apologize, I mean, you know, he fought back to questioning about posting that movie and the Amazon link. I mean, he fought back. Like, don't dehumanize me. Don't dehumanize you. What does that movie do to you know, a big part of our community here in New York, or worldwide? It dehumanizes them.
Absolutely.
I'm like, what do you? I mean, like, it's so out there and so off base and so crazy that the fact that he is even still on the team is shocking to me.
Yeah, but at this point, I feel like nobody's going to have the guts to do anything. They're just going to wait for the next thing to happen. I guarantee there's been conversations within the Nets and the NBA to be like, this will blow over, whatever, it'll be fine, we'll just move on. That's a guarantee. That's what they're talking about. Nobody's done anything about it. I mean, how many of these instances, I brought this up yesterday, how many of these instances have we seen with people in cancel culture where it happens in seconds? Like, people say something, they tweet something, and then they're gone. Their life is wiped away. And somehow Kyrie Irving, he's not talking to the media. He could somehow get away with that. He's playing basketball games. I mean, what the hell is going on? And where is the person that's going to step up and have the guts in a position of power to do something about it? I mean, the owner, everybody's like, well, Joe Tsai came out and condemned it. My ass, he posted something on Twitter where he's like, hey, we are against anti-Semitism and it's disappointing. To cover his own ass, it's the only reason why he did it. Did he really do something about this? No. I'm going to put out a tweet. Adam Silver, the NBA, condemns anti-Semitism. The NBA PA condemns anti-Semitism. No crap. What are you going to do? Put out a statement saying that you're for it? Actually do something about it. Get his ass out of here. Instead of look at this stupid ass, anti-Semitism has no place in our society. No bleep. We understand that. We're focused on creating an environment where everyone is accepted. All right. Say something about Kyrie Irving. Say that in there. Put his name in that statement and say that he's an idiot. Do it. Have the guts to do it. And nobody will. Why? Why? Why is he being protected?
Well, because he's an NBA player, and they basically run the league. That's why. That's why.
That's not good enough. I'm sorry. It's not good enough.
I agree with you.
It's not good enough.
His name should be in that statement, and his name should be coming out of the mouth of Adam Silver. Where is he? I mean, and he's a Jewish commissioner. I said this yesterday. I was like, you got to be there's totally something wrong with how this whole thing is being handled. Completely.
He has to have pressure on him from all sides, but this is the
pressure from what?
No, I'm talking about from the players, obviously, because the players run the league, right? So don't touch us. You better not touch us. Don't start this war. We've got a good situation here going on. So there's pressure there, and there's got to be pressure from owners, the Jewish community, friends of his, family members, because he is Jewish. So there's pressure there. But it's obvious what you do. You do the right thing. You screw the pressure from the players, and you actually step up and have some intestinal fortitude to do the right thing. And he doesn't. He just runs and hides. Well, these NBA guys, but here's the problem. They get away with it, and nobody holds them accountable. It's the same stuff with the China situation. The same thing, and that went away. So you hold your feet to the fire, and then they're like, where's Adam Silver? The China thing. Where's LeBron James with the China thing? And then they say this terrible stuff. We slam them on the radio. There's columns written about it, but then it goes away. And they get away with it. And the same thing is happening here, where you got a guy who promotes this grossly anti-Semitic film, who, by the way, he did say he watched it, and he implied in that press conference that he read the book. And I know we had a moron caller yesterday. It's like, all he was trying to say was, where do the Jews come from or the blacks come from? That's not what this movie is about. I'm sorry. And there is a quote in there from a fake Hitler quote in there. There is also another fake quote in there talking about how the Holocaust didn't happen so the Jews can control the world. That's why they came up with the lie. I'm not making that up. That's in there. There is a fake quote in that movie that says that the Jewish people lied about the Holocaust to make people feel bad about them so they can run the world. That's in that movie that Kyrie posted. But Kyrie's out there dishing assists and shooting a basketball. We're letting him go out there and play?
Yeah.
And nobody's doing anything about it? What world are we living in? Honestly. I mean, there was the Sacramento Kings play-by-play guy tweeted out all lives matter and was fired in 10 seconds. 10 seconds his ass was on the street. Kyrie Irving is posting about a video that says the Holocaust didn't happen, and he's dodging the media and playing in NBA games.
And getting paid.
And getting paid $1 gazillion. Where are the rational people? Where did you go? Where are the people with guts? Where are you? Why are we afraid of this a-hole? Why are we afraid of him?
Ask Sean Marks.
Why is he afraid? Because he's a gutless wuss, too. Because all he cares about is winning. And he pushed all his chips in the middle of the table. It's a complete disaster for him, and he's trying to save face. So he's going to take the sexual harassment coach away from the Celtics and then stand by this anti-Semite jerk-off. That's what he's going to do. That's his plan. Good job, Sean. Good job. Seriously. And then Joe Tsai sitting back there. Oh, well, I condemned it on my Twitter account. F out of here.
You know what? It will take sponsors. It will take people to pull out of their suites, and it will take fans. I would think protesting outside of the Barclays Center. That's probably the three things that will make the Nets do something in this regard. That's the only thing, really. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea where any sort of reality in this situation is hiding. I have no idea. I mean, Sean Marks actually stands up there behind the microphone. Yes, I'm like, this guy is like lost it.
Well, of course. I mean, they think they could fool everybody. Like,
They're
don't
not
look
fooling
over here.
anybody. I mean,
Don't look, I know
ridiculous.
they think they can. They think they can, but they're not. They're like, oh, well, just sit back here. Everything's fine. It's fine. Nash, we moved on. It was the right move for the organization.
Hey, by the way, let me tell you, the Boston Celtics are really happy about this. They want that Udoka guy out of there.
Well, clearly.
They don't want to deal with him anymore. They want his ass out of there and how can go work for you. Without any penalty, without any compensation,
take him.
nothing. You can take him. You
Right.
can have him.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the other part of this, too, is that's interesting because in that report that came out about what Ime Udoka did, and this is just stuff that came out, there was a line in there that said that it would be very difficult to bring him back after the suspension in 2023. So that was a situation that was on Brad Stevens' hands where it's like, okay, I've got a great coach here who took us to an NBA Finals, but all this stuff is here. Like, now I'm going to be painted into a corner.
What did he do?
He said, go, take him.
No, but what he did, when all this stuff came out, he suspended his ass.
Right. Exactly.
And said, you're out of here. Right. You're not coaching the Boston Celtics under these circumstances. There's a guy who actually has some stones.
Exactly. And oh, by the way, Ime Udoka had real success with the Boston Celtics. Real success. What has Kyrie Irving done with the Nets? What has he done?
Nothing.
Why
except
are you
ruin
protecting
the franchise.
him? Why are you protecting him?
I would think this would be the opportunity of a lifetime to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, right. You know how much, but they don't care. They're trying to recoup the money that they lost, and they're trying to recoup any sort of reputation that they had by going to win. That's all they care about. That's it. I mean, you want to talk
they're
about
not winning, though. That's the problem. They're not. I mean, like, I could understand if you're sitting here telling me that they're going to win 60 games. They haven't done that. And if you go back to when they first started together, I know Kevin didn't play that first year, but Kyrie walked out on the team.
Yeah,
he walked out on the team in the bubble. We had the whole vaccine issue last year. Then we had, the year before that, he decided to take 2 weeks off. He went to a birthday party. I mean, like, the crap that he has pulled here on this team and the amount of money that they have paid him is just, it is so mind-boggling and so hard to wrap your head around, especially now at this point with him tweeting this movie and them not doing anything to him is remarkably inept and pitiful.
Yeah, I mean, I could if I told you this and I said this is what I think is going to happen. Kyrie Irving's going to tweet out this situation with this movie and then nobody's going to do anything about it. You'd never believe me. No one would ever believe me. But that's what we're sitting in right now is exactly this. And by the way, Kevin Durant has to be the most gutless, spineless, completely morally bankrupt person in the NBA with the fact that he cannot. So this guy goes to the owner, tries to get the GM and the coach fired after he ends up, of course, leaving Oklahoma City to go join a championship team because you can't get it done, then leaving that place because you can't have any, his relationships there with Draymond Green are going down the toilet, to come here. He tries to get these guys fired, has to crawl back because they don't trade him, eventually gets Steve Nash fired. Kyrie Irving's destroying the franchise, and he sits back there and doesn't say a word, not a word about it, doesn't defend anything. I mean, this guy shouldn't get off the hook either. I'm sorry.
He also got Kenny Atkinson fired. Don't forget that.
Damn. It's just these guys.
This is why, let me just tell you something. This is why nobody watches that team. This is why nobody cares. Well, now people do care, but they care for a different reason. They are disenfranchising a large swath of their fan base. And I would think that their sponsorships and a lot of the companies that own the suites in that building are probably putting on an enormous amount of pressure. I mean, there's no way I would even step into that building.
Oh, absolutely not.
That basketball team, I'm not even close.
Absolutely not. And I know it's a personal decision. People do what they want, but I mean, if you're actually paying money to see that team and essentially emboldening these jerks who have made these decisions and allow this to go on, then you're part of the problem. You are. I'm sorry.
The amazing thing is a lot of these teams, in the way I look at it, they are public trust. Even though they have their own owners, they are a public trust, meaning that, when Steve Cohen bought the Mets, he spent all that money to buy the Mets, he did it as a fan. I mean, and he did everybody a solid. Did the Wilpons a solid? Did the fan base a solid? Of spending money And he recognizes how important a team is to a community. So it is a public trust. The same thing with the Yankees, the Rangers, the Islanders. You know, what they've done with the Islanders with the new building and everything else, and how they've, reach out to the community. I mean, this is a big thing. And right now, the Nets have got to be one of the worst organizations, if not the worst organization in all of professional sports in our country, that have now disenfranchised a large group of their fan base. Right. I mean, it is corporate suicide is what it is.
It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.